Queensland!
The opium den of the religious hemisphere. Schizophrenia on the front page and a plutonium salesman in control. You can't be too serious here. It's against the law. But fantasy is fine. Miniature castles, giant dairy cows, clockwork cricketers, walk-in pineapples and fiberglass fossils. The Brisbane Museum is obsolete and Sideshow Alley is just down the street. Troglodytes trolled the pavements at night like clones from Dr. Strangelove gone troppo. A demolition dealer with a death wish, the monarchy's anarchist with a thin blue line through his head.
Is he fit to govern?
Are we fit to be laughed at? On every street corner, paper sellers hawked a classified mouthpiece for the censor's madness. The only roosters in sight had more than their hands on their hips and a policeman's cap covering the rocks in their skull. The Egyptian rooster was nowhere to be seen, which was where he was, but I only learned that later. We were driving around Brisbane looking for a signpost to Rooster City when I saw Burke and Wills heading north along the Bruce Highway in a black FJ ute, boards up top and the Egyptian rooster at the wheel.
We're going surfing on the sun. Don't drop in. Find your own star.
Where do we go now?
Where else?
No, sir.
We hit it on New Year's Day, and the heads were pumping like a clubby in mud. Cyclonic surf. Cyclonic surf. Unreal. Helicopters filled the sky, and the rip said,
Just because your brains are on the table doesn't mean you're out of your head. Heavy-suited chaps in dark glasses handed out invitations to meet God while their leader researched his mind. Under a gum tree by the beach, they spread out until a combi load of gurus pulled up next to the PA and started waxing down their planks as the radio spaced it out. Living in Noosa is like whooping at the sun. Watermelon mornings and rockmelon skies. A mouth-watering sight built to boogie. Up in the hills under a Sunshine Coast volcano lies a computerized blueprint to Rooster City. Back in the woods, prehistoric cactus plants jive-talk the dolphins as pelicans let down across the lagoon. The wombat barks and the surf rolls on. Down in the clubhouse, Kevin Colossus and the Bruce City Rhythm Poons liven up the night. We were sitting on the steps of the Electronic Tourist Centre talking to a pawpaw when the black FJ ute pulled up and out stepped Burke and Wills. The rooster lay face down in the back, and I knew something strange was about to happen, so I started laughing and tried to look serious at the same time.
I've just been to extinction and it's quite a thrill. In fact, World War I is just over that hill.
Make it quick, Burke. I'm about to defect this decade of détente.
Are you hip to what's happening in Darwin?
The Zoot Suiters have gone underground.
Eric Von Daniken's gone disco and Andy Warhol's building a sanatorium. These are strange days.
Is the Dalai Lama in Darwin? I screamed, sensing a change of punk hierarchy coming on.
You tell him, Wills.
You tell him, multicoloured.
The Egyptian rooster stood up in the back of the ute, flickered like a goanna, pointed his bone at himself and disappeared. What's your story, Multicolours? I don't understand what's going on.
All the great myths of the past cloak pure forces. Your love is a myth, and I am just a silhouette.
The foot hit the fan. A volcano caught my eye, and suddenly I was approaching Rooster City at twice the speed of lead, an Egyptian rooster drumming on my head. The outback was moving like a pack of postcards. Here was there. I was everywhere and nowhere, heading west into the sun as it sank behind a dinosaur like a crimson air balloon. The sound of kookaburras filled the sky, and the black ute was spewing spiders as I crawled out and fell on my back.
A vacuum is nothing but space for rent, haunted by the fear of going completely bananas.
Came the voice from a radio play. My middle ear did a digital flip, and a crocodile slipped into a swamp a million miles away. I awoke beside a monument to the ABC. I turned my head, and it took a long time to recognize the Egyptian rooster, who was sitting in a flying armchair stroking a walking sphinx beneath a signpost that read, "Welcome to Rooster City."
I've been counting the bananas until your approach. I am your imagination. My name is Rainbow. Now, what do you want?
Could this be the home of the 7 hot bananas? I shook my dreadlocks and my brains felt like dancing.
What is your wish, Jim?
This must be it. My imagination was making demands. I want a shot at Radio Australia in shortwave.
But radio is so ethereal. Why don't you make a film or write a book for someone to burn?
Listen, you tart. Talk is cheap and radio is cheaper. I like the sound of static and telling people they're stuffed. You can dance to it.
No worries.
He pointed his foot at the sand and produced a small crystal set, a length of aerial, and a speaker box that yawned from a black hole tuned to the cargo cult of quasi-consciousness somewhere near Uranus. Now I'd like to say something on Radio Babylon, your fantasyness. Be an old dervish and let's rub noses in it. The rooster crossed his eyes and a strange noise started coming out of the top of my head.